Hey, what's going on, people? Check it out. So we're talking about a highly sought after technique to be able to execute the double thumb technique. And I have a few questions about, trying to execute this technique the right way, or what's the best way to do it. So I have a couple tips and tricks that I can show you, the very small tricks that'll make the difference. So we're going to talk about that right now. Let's go. So you may see this movement executed in several different ways, but this is the way that I like to do it, and that is easiest for me to do it. So I get a lot of questions about which way should I be doing it? Should I be using my wrist? Should I be using my arm to be able to execute that technique? Well, first of all, I wanted to show you guys, when you're practicing this technique, don't make it hard on yourself. Just do a simple major scale. So I'm doing a C-sharp major scale or D-flat major scale, but I'm doubling every single note. So down, up for one note, down, up, next note, down, up. You can either do that or alternate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So down for one note, up for the next note. Either way, it doesn't really matter. You might want to even stay on one note just to execute this technique. So the movement is really in the arm. So when you see me play this technique, you'll see my arm move versus my wrist. And the reason why I do this is because I have so much more control using my arm. And it's a stiffer element that I have to be able to control that movement versus flicking your wrist. And when I try to do it that way, I end up swinging a lot, or swinging a lot more than I should, just because of the rhythm. It's funny because I've been in several different situations with bands, and they had guitar players, and the guitar players sometimes will get the rhythms wrong because they're using a pick to do the stroke. Sometimes it didn't require a swing, but they ended up swinging only because of that movement. It almost automatically makes you want to swing the beat instead of play it straight. Okay, so that's the same type of movement that I get when I'm using my arm versus using my wrist. Okay, so up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, or one note. So I'm almost using the bass, or this end of the bass, this top end of the bass, to be able to pivot my arm to make it a little bit easier, just as an anchor. So you can see it going back and forth, back and forth. It's a little bit easier. It's harder to see visually, but once you grab your bass, hopefully you're doing that now. Once you grab your bass and you go through that motion of putting your thumb, or not your thumb, but putting your arm on this end of the bass and kind of rocking it back and forth, that's the movement that you want, and keeping your wrist as stiff as possible and your thumb as stiff as possible. I've talked about this technique on numerous occasions, and I often get this question about how to actually execute that movement. Not just the double thumb, not actually just going up or the upstroke or the downstroke. I get a lot of questions about that too. And there's tons of tutorials here that you can see to help you improve the upstroke and the downstroke. One thing I wanted to mention too, your upstroke is not going to sound exactly like the downstroke. It's going to be different because you're using a different part of your thumb. So this part going down versus the nail bed coming up and flicking that note up. So it's not going to have the same sound because it's different material hitting the bass each time, or hitting the string each time. So don't worry about the upstroke doesn't sound exactly like or how can I get them to sound the same? It's not ever going to sound the same. You can have the same dynamics, but it won't tonality wise sound the same. It's going to have a different feel. So you may find that you need to pull that upstroke just a little bit harder, not too hard, just a little bit, with a little bit more force, to create a little bit more dynamic as much as you would going down. But anyway, let's not get into that. I wanted to show you guys that pivot action, that pivot movement. I know we didn't play too much, but I wanted to get that technique down, and I felt like a lot of people are struggling with that double thumb technique, and it's so fun to play. I would love for you guys to actually tackle it and add it to your library or arsenal of things that you can play. And the possibilities are endless with this type of technique. As you see, sometimes with my playing, I use it all the time. So if you guys are interested in diving a little bit deeper inside of this concept from a player that actually uses them, strongly recommend that you check out Bass Nation Academy. It's a 3-day free trial. Go check it out. You can see everything we have to offer, and that's available now. Live classes, video Q&A sections. I give you personal feedback. It's like having a personal teacher. Just join with a huge community of bass players that you can interact with as well. That's not all. That's just the tip of the iceberg. But go check it out and see everything that we have to offer. The link will be in the description. The link will be in the description. I'll put it somewhere here on the screen. Make sure you're also coming out clean, clear, and precise. If you guys are new here, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell icon, and say all notifications so you can get notified every time I upload a video, every single week, maybe more times than that. But thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.